the departure procedure. A sad thought, maybe even a daunting thought. How will you fit everything you bought on Shein into one suitcase? Will you cry saying goodbye to your friends? How do you make sure that you've taken care of everything you need to before you leave? We know that change can be confusing, so we have compiled a short presentation to make this already difficult time a little bit easier. The first thing you will need to do is change the date of your return flight. That will probably feel a bit strange since you're only starting your Aupair year, but it's safer to get it out of the way. This should be done 3 months after you arrive. To change your return date, please contact Misa Dutoy, who is part of the travel team. You are only allowed to stay in the Netherlands for a year as per your residence permit and contract, which means that you should discuss the date of your return within that year's time frame with your host family to be sure of what would suit them best. There is a cost involved in changing this date, which you, as the au pair, are responsible for. If you choose to change your flight date once again, you will have to pay that fee. Once your return flight is booked, please do us a favor and upload the new date onto your profile so we know when to say goodbye to you. Once you have sorted out the flight, you can sit back and enjoy your au pair year for what it should be. Travel, visit museums, make friends, discover who you are, and experience your freedom for what it is. You will only have to start thinking about your departure again a month before you are due to hop onto the plane back home. Enjoy each spare moment you have with your host family and your friends, and end your year off with a bang. You will also have to start sorting through all the things you have accumulated and decide which to keep, which to donate, and which to leave behind for the next au pair. It would be helpful to chat to your host family about which of the things you need to get rid of would be ideal to leave behind for the next au pair. This could be bottles of body wash you didn't get the chance to use, a jacket that didn't fit into your suitcase, or the candles or plant you bought trying to make your room feel more like home. Don't underestimate the amount of time this takes. Start packing in advance. This might save you extra stress in your last days. There is a little bit of admin to do before you go. We are here to help you with all of the nitty-gritties. About a week before you leave, you should be finishing off the last bit of admin tying you to the Netherlands. Luckily, it's a quick and easy process. All you have to do is make sure you're deregistered from your gemeente, that you contact the NS group to cancel your travel subscription, and that you put a stop to any cell phone contracts, subscriptions, and any memberships you might have at a gym, sport club, or other recreational facility. You do not need to worry about cancelling your museum card. Your subscription will expire after a year. Please remember that your NS train subscription is paid a month in advance. This means that when you have cancelled your subscription and arrive back home, you will have to pay your final month's subscription fee. It is wise to keep your prorata payment for the purpose of paying your train subscription. The prorata payment is the money you receive about 2 weeks before you leave the country for the amount of time you worked between your last pay and the date that you stop working. This is calculated for you. Finally, it is time to plan your departure. Take your time to mentally process what the next few days will entail. Spend a lot of time with your host family and discuss how to go about your departure. It is always a good idea to mark the occasion with a special dinner, outing, or farewell party. Have a chat with the parents about what would suit them and what they think would be a good way for them as host parents and their children to say goodbye. Believe it or not, the family will miss your presence, quirks, and personality more than you think. Be mindful of this by saying goodbye to your friends before the day of departure and on a separate occasion. Your host family has done a lot for you by the time you leave and have been a fundamental part in your growth and your year abroad. To show appreciation to them, it is important to express your gratitude to them in the form of a letter. Whether this is to them as a family or each individual family member, it is a special gesture that will be sure to make them remember you and all the fond memories you've shared. This leads us to the next point, your room. There is nothing that leaves more of a bad taste in the family's mouth than leaving your room in a mess. It is only fair that you leave it clean and tidy. Clean your bathroom properly, vacuum and mop the floor, especially under furniture. Empty your bins and clean them out with soap and water. Clean shelves in your cupboard and wash your bedding. Every little bit of extra effort helps to make the room look spotless. You can follow this diagram to make sure that you have left your space satisfactory. Once you have left the house for the last time with your suitcase and have set foot into the aeroplane, it is too late to discover that you have forgotten something in your bedroom. Make sure that you have your chargers, your phone, your passports, and all other important documentation. Before you leave your room, be sure to look around and leave it better than when you found it. Once all the practical things are out of the way, you've said your goodbyes, you've checked into your flight, and you are ready to leave, you might find yourself in a whirlwind of emotions. Maybe you start feeling these things only once you're back home. Maybe you find yourself already crying on the aeroplane, or maybe you can't control your smiling. Whatever the case may be, putting it into words is the only way of storing memories of a time as special as this. Writing a goodbye letter to the Netherlands and sharing it with many future au pairs will keep your au pairing year in the Netherlands alive. We've enjoyed getting to know you, and we will miss you. Not only will we miss you, we, along with your host family, will always remember the memories we've shared. Don't let the relationship you have built and worked on for a year go to waste. Keep contact with your host family and try to connect with them over birthdays, holidays, and if you ever come to visit the Netherlands again, be sure to let them know. You will always have a special connection with them. In the same way, you will always have a special connection to South Africa, your home, and now it is time to embrace it with open arms.